Jay Coleman, edgelording is contrarianism. Yeah, epic edgelords. They have been really edging with this election loss, man. They are edging and edging and edging. In fact, let's talk about that now. The Supreme Court made a decision today, and their decision was to not hear the arguments of the so let's recap for just a second. I mean, like 99% of Trump's legal team filings, lawsuits, or what have you, have failed. Like only one went through and got approved, and it was just a little like technicality. It had nothing to do with vote approvals or anything like that. They tried to block in each of the swing states. They tried to block the certification of the election. Didn't work. Trump appointed judges were saying how crazy the idea even of disenfranchising millions of voters in the state because, and this is the thing, what evidence do they have? They aren't even because nothing has shown up. They can't point and find a direct case of voter fraud. All the cases of voter fraud that happened in this election, singular cases that we can point to are Trump supporters who were trying to vote twice for Trump, including a guy in Pennsylvania who, what did he do? He got a mail-in ballot. He tried to get a mail-in ballot for his dead mother. And it's actually very easy for election officials to find all this stuff. So they can't point to any one case of voter fraud because it's their people that are doing it. So what are they talking to? Statistical anomalies. Look at this. What does Trump call them? Massive dumps of votes, right? Massive dumps of votes that Trump keeps talking about. It's interesting to me. It reminds me of when I was a new atheism stan, years ago. I'm not proud of it. But the one not so bad new atheists are the Atheist Experience, the folks in Austin who do their call-in show, and it's interesting because you get a caller who call in a bunch, this is different people who have the common argument where it's just statistically unlikely. You look how unlikely it is the universe would exist. It's so unlikely there must have been God, right? And that's basically the argument that the Trump team is trying to make. Statistically unlikely that Biden would get more votes than Trump, and that they would all be mail-in ballots when Trump talks smack about mail-in ballots nonstop all during the whole election cycle and how bad they are. And so no Republicans voted with mail-in ballots. So as all the mail-in ballots got counted, the tally for Biden skyrocketed, right? And some of this was by design. In Pennsylvania, the Republican legislature made it so the mail-in ballots wouldn't be counted until the day of the election, and I think even it might have been after the in-person election totals were finished. So the red mirage was a mirage, and it evaporated. Idiots like Dave Rubin will be like, "Well, I wake up and where'd all these votes come from?" They didn't come from nowhere. They were at the election centers. They were just getting counted, right? But so then we get to the latest news. What just happened? Well, so the state of Texas, the Texas State Attorney General, who's actually under investigation right now by the Justice Department for using his office. Talk about corrupt prosecutors. Using his office to help his friends. Well, he filed a suit in Texas, or an amicus brief, against all these swing states, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Arizona, Georgia, wanting to nullify their election results because it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair. They, it's not fair that they had all these voters. So they're trying to say that the rights of their voters in Texas or wherever else, a bunch of other attorney generals in red states jumped in on it. Our voters are getting disenfranchised because your voters are voting, right? I think some of this is still trying to hump the dead Dominion voting machine conspiracy. But the Supreme Court put the kibosh on it. Supreme Court dismisses bid led by Texas Attorney General to overturn the presidential election results, blocking Trump's legal path to a reversal of his loss. Supreme Court on Friday dismissed a long-shot bid by the President Donald Trump in the state of Texas to overturn the results in 4 states won by Democrat Joe Biden, blocking the president's legal path to reverse his election loss. Yeah, so, yep, it was denied. Texas's request to sue Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin over how they conducted their elections. So it's over how they did the election. Now, it's really funny to me that the right will cry for states' rights when they want to pollute the environment, when they're pro-segregation, in the 50s and 60s. States' rights are holy, important things that must be respected. But when it comes to voting, the states can't figure out their own voting. That's wrong. That hurts them, so that's bad. It's bad. It's bad. Oh, and guess who was the dissent? Alito and Clarence Thomas. Justice Samuel Alito, who was just whining on a conservative conference Zoom meeting that we can't discriminate against people as religious people, so that's a discrimination against us. Meh. Right? Justice Samuel Alito Jr. and Clarence Thomas said they did not think the court had the authority to simply reject a state's filing, a position they have taken in the past, but they said they would not have granted Texas the remedy it sought. Well, man, even they're kicking Texas in the teeth over this. Some people are alleging that the Texas Attorney General is pardon fishing. He's fishing for a pardon, much like Sweaty Rudy and other people who are so adamant about this election stuff. Oh, and a bunch of House Republicans joined in on this, including House leadership in the Republican Party joined in on this. Not a good thing. And then, why is Confederacy trending on Twitter right now? Oh, geez, I wonder why. Texas GOP chair says, in light of Supreme Court tossing out Texas case, quote, perhaps law-abiding states should bond together and form a union of states that will abide by the Constitution. We tried this already, guy. Oh, come on, man. So here's the full statement. The Supreme Court, in tossing the Texas lawsuit that was joined by 17 states and 106 U.S. congressmen, all of one party, by the way, have decreed that a state can take unconstitutional actions and violate its own election law. That's Supreme Court would have heard the case, probably, if that was the case, resulting in damaging effects on other states that abide by the law, while the guilty state suffers no consequences. Guilty, guilty state, you dirty state. This decision establishes a precedent that says states can violate the U.S. Constitution and not be held accountable. This decision will have far-reaching ramifications for the future of our constitutional republic. Perhaps law-abiding states should bond together and form a union of states that will abide by the Constitution. Jeez, guy, we did this already. How did that end? The right-wingers didn't win that time either, okay? Jay Coleman mentioned edgelords earlier in the comments. This is the ultimate edgelord thing, the election that they just can't let go of, that they just can't admit they lost. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. I don't mind saying it again and again and again. It's a really bad look. It's a sad look. You guys should, move on. Move on. It's and this is troubling. I know it's funny and goofy. Again, I make jokes about it and all of that. But it's also quite troubling that you have now the right is just insisting that they have won an election that they did not win, and that there's fraud, which there is not. And I believe Trump got a little scary about it recently. Let's go check out Trump's Twitter. Oh boy, his name's trending. This has got to be good. Let's just check out what the man himself is saying. Oh, when did he? Oh, he posted this 54 minutes ago. We got to hear it. It's the President of the United States. It's important when
the nation has achieved a medical miracle. We have delivered a safe and effective vaccine in just 9 months.
That his government ordered not enough of. They only got 50 million doses. They were supposed to get 100 million. And they said they would, and then they didn't. And so we're going to be low when we get them. And even, it was either Pfizer or Moderna warned them, you guys need more. Okay. All right, let's see what else. Here's another one with a warning. This thing of election fraud has been disputed.
America deserved an honest election. This is what they got. Suitcases of ballots added in secret in Georgia.
Who's editing
Dead
this?
people voting in Wisconsin. A money for vote scheme in Nevada. Poll watchers denied access in Pennsylvania.
None of this stuff
Faulty
is true.
ballot drop boxes. And clerks facing felony charges in Michigan. The evidence is overwhelming.
If it was overwhelming, the Supreme Court, which is stacked by conservatives, put there by Trump, definitely would have heard the case. I mean, that much is clear. I really don't get why they think they can. I know why they think they can just keep lying, because that's what they've been doing this whole time. Nobody's kept Trump accountable. They've all just continued to lie. Oh, is this just like a North Korea style propaganda film? That should be fun. Millions of jabs. Is he dancing?
Worldwide pandemic and led the effort to discover a vaccine at warp speed. America rewarded President Trump with over 74 million votes. Millions more than Obama and both Clintons. More votes than any Trump with over 74 million votes.
Really?
Millions more than Obama.
All those candidates he was running against, right? Jeez.
Both Clintons. More votes than any president. More votes from African Americans, Latinos, and Jewish Americans than any Republican in decades.
But not as much as Joe Biden.
President Trump won Ohio, Florida, and 95% of bellwether counties, suggesting a landslide Trump victory. But something happened. Some states rushed out mail-in ballots, a recipe for fraud. Dead people voted. Ballots miraculously appeared. Biden ballots added in the middle of the night. Joe Biden bragged about having
the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of...
It's an out.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, that's the level of bad faith. Joe Biden is talking about the country being able to handle voter fraud and investigate it. We have the biggest system to look at voter fraud in history and handle it, and they're taking that as evidence. This is hilarious, man. It's again really sad, pathetic, but this is really setting up. So now the United States, how has Trump been able to? They still think he's the greatest president. They still think he's doing the best job, the greatest job, tremendous, nothing but winning, right? Even at more than 250,000 Americans dead, he still handled this virus just great, according to them. And this is really, it's due to a lot of things. The balkanization of corporate media, far right, the Fox News, created this right-wing, alternate reality, basically. Of course, there was a fertile topsoil laid down by talk radio, Rush Limbaugh, who just was talking about secession, possibly red states seceding from the Union, and there not being a possibility of peaceful coexistence. Boy, they really, this is where the right goes when they lose. This is where they go when they lose an election. They go straight to this. It's just very, very telling, very interesting.